Hey guys, so yeah, just diving right in. Once again, we gotta talk art and animation because holy shit, did Toei go all fucking out on this episode. And understand, it wasn't like previous episodes where one or two isolated moments were amazing. No, practically from beginning to end, the episode was fucking cinematic. Like that's the best way I can describe this episode. Is there were so many scenes in there was so much about this episode there where this was a fucking movie in episode format, and there's so many instances back to back in this episode that are like this. Like I think the biggest scene that stood out in this episode for me was the final shot, was the final couple minutes like before the credits hit, where the Straw Hats were having their toast before heading off into battle after the samurai. Like just in those single shots of the Straw Hats, like are looking to have a toast before Luffy like said let's hold off on the toast until after the battle. Like just that singular scene, there was such a pop, a literal pop of color in that single shot. Just like honestly, and not even just from anything major, but just from the way that the scene was lighted, the way the fucking sun was animated and lighted the whole scene. That there was just that scene could literally pop off the screen, and it was so just it looked like a scene that you'd see in everyday life, and maybe even more beautiful than that. But yeah, and just the way the scene captured like this reflection and refraction kind of effect of light that made things just so much more three-dimensional, dynamic, and just like it looked like the mugs themselves looked so real that it's like I don't even know where to begin. But I may as well talk about the biggest moment, which is the introduction to the top officers of Kaido's crew, the Tobiroppo. And this is one time where I'm using both the manga and opening as a frame of reference for this comparison, because yeah, this is one time where the episode outdid both. Obviously, it outdid the opening because there's really just a still frame there, but the way the anime colored, lighted, and generally in every other term of the word animated the introduction to each of the Tobiroppo actually it pretty much far outdid the manga in every single way for me. Like I think it also helps that Queen's party was so off the wall bonkers and how the whole sequence was animated that it served as the perfect accompaniment to make the introduction 100 times better than it already was. But of course and of course in typical One Piece fashion, the French moment the French moment the moment that the French screen is basically on the Tobiroppo. Each individual character reveal we're given just gives us so much about them through interaction, while also still through their interactions with each other, while also still giving off this natural intimidation to them that just through their interactions. Like obviously in typical One Piece fashion that they have these, that they're goofy, they goof off, that they have these arguments kind of thing. But even in the argument, even in how they Tobiroppo interact off each other, there still is this kind of natural intimidation to them, where there is a legit reason these guys are Kaido's elite, and it wasn't just limited to the it wasn't just limited to Tobiroppo either, because the way the anime used Queen's like rave style dance party, because let's be real, that's what it was, to introduce the lower rank groups like the pleasures, the waiters, the gifters, and the headliners. Like all these smaller groups, even after the Tobiroppo were introduced, it actually like just the way these groups were introduced actually got me more invested in them than I was in the manga. And I think this episode, in broad strokes, honestly, is an example of how, when adapting manga into anime, it is kind of interesting to note how adding just a touch of flair gets you more excited for something that you just kind of overlook when reading in the manga sometimes. And and that's not even, and everything I just said is not even accounting for the continued stellar animation we got even before the Tobiroppo's introduction, with Luffy and the Straw Hats' continued battle against the Beast Pirates. I mean, usually in situations like this where you get one or two amazing scenes in last week, in the episode prior, you expect a little bit of a dip in quality with the following episode, but that was the complete opposite here, because the Gum Gum Red Hawk was an animation chef's kiss. And I think part of what did make this episode such a spectacle to watch is they definitely sacrificed, you can tell they kind of had to sacrifice last week's episode for the sake of making this week such just a beautiful, just a beautiful episode. Like this episode was fucking beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. And it worked, because just by being able to add that extra bit of visual impact to Luffy's Red Hawk made it all the more fulfilling of when you see them, when you see him take out the Beast Pirates. Of course, the scene itself of Luffy taking out the Torii Gate did also serve as a narrative function as well, because while as I said, he made a critical mistake before of letting the ship go, he now actually made a very critical, important move by taking out the Torii Gate, which saved the alliance and basically allowed the alliance in order to keep a lot of its manpower, as the others had said. Of course, on the flip side of that, Luffy's also doing things that are slowly wearing him down as well, and you're gonna see that more and more as this arc goes on. That Luffy is gonna be doing more and more stuff that's just gonna wear him down more and more. Now, with that said, the rest of the episode takes place at Onigashima in the build-up to the attack, and there's so many things happening at one time, but a couple things caught my eye. One thing first is that I think the anime added a scene of one of the numbers, getting a sort of semi introduction before the actual introduction of the numbers themselves, which I think was just for the purpose of showing that if a single one of them is as strong as we see in the episode, the others probably are just as dangerous. The other big thing, though, is we get teased with the introduction of the masked character from the opening, who's revealed to be Kaido, who's revealed by Kaido himself to be, well, ultimately be his son Yamato, which yeah, the opening itself pretty much debunks that as a lie. This is the one problem with the opening for me, is that the opening practically gives away that this whole thing of Yamato being a woman, and just that being the case, it already gives insight into the relationship between the two of them. But even more than that, I actually went back to the episodes that covered Yasui's execution, and I realized there's a brief scene that I completely missed where the anime actually introduced her character early on, but it was from like the neck down. So yeah, just kind of a cool little tidbit there. But and yeah, guys, like what can I say? Like, honestly, what more can I say? Like, I think the only thing I have anything bad, the only genuine thing bad I have to say about this episode, frankly, and it's really just more of a worry than anything else, is that this is one of those that makes you question how much of the fucking budget did Toei basically burn through with this fucking episode. Again, a genuine episode that looks like a damn movie. How much did they burn through here? That's what I want to fucking know. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and on Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe, and just share the video around, guys. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later.